Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Rudy Page, and today for the next few minutes, I'm going to have a dialogue with the formidable Dr. Karren Dunkley, who I know from being part of the global Jamaica diaspora movement. Good afternoon, Dr. Karren Dunkley. How are you?
Good afternoon to you, Rudy. It's always so great seeing you, and good afternoon certainly to your listeners. It's morning where I am.
Okay. And of course, we will be broadcasting this on Fresh FM Radio London, inspired music and culture, as we always say.
Yes. And what a great title that you have, especially during Reggae Month. Congratulations on all the amazing activities that I see you doing and that you will continue to do. It's just so inspiring that reggae music is worldwide music. It's conscious music. So thank you.
And thanks for that. And of course, last week we had our Women in Reggae Forum, which went down very well, which is going to be followed up next month as part of International Women's Week, a Women in Reggae Symposium, and hosted by Carol Thompson, the Queen of UK Lovers Rock, as well.
What? Wow! So that seems like that's the hottest ticket in town.
Absolutely. That's the
hottest ticket in town. Yes.
Yeah. So thanks. So Karren, tell us a bit about yourself and why we're here today.
Thank you so much again for having me. I am here in this role. I serve on the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. The Global Jamaica Diaspora Council comes out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. And we do have many members across the entire globe. We have the UK, we have Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, the United States, and Canada. We have launched in the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council 5 work groups. I am the chair of the People Work Group, and the portfolio under the People Work Group, like all the other work groups, is actually quite vast. And it really involves health and wellness, education, youth and community development, disabled populations. One of the critical components of the People Work Group is human trafficking in persons. And we're here today because in collaboration with the National Task Force for Against Trafficking in Persons in Jamaica, we will host a forum. And the title of the forum is Fighting Human Trafficking in Jamaica, Diaspora Action, as well as it really provides Rudy an opportunity to find out why it is that human trafficking actually has increased. We know, interestingly enough, that based on the data, we've seen an increase in the trafficking of both boys and girls. So many individuals, they operate under the beliefs that perhaps it's only girls who are trafficked. But now we've seen, especially with the onslaught of the pandemic, a slight uptick in children being trafficked. And we'll talk some more about this, but in many cases by family members.
Okay, so what are the goals of the Human Trafficking Forum itself?
Our goals are really simple. I think the first goal is to continue to increase the knowledge and awareness of individuals regarding exactly what human trafficking, what it looks like in Jamaica, as well as, more importantly, the role that we can play as concerned citizens, as I would describe the term activists, but also as solution oriented, right? So what are some pragmatic solutions that are sustainable that we can implement to ensure that we certainly eliminate, if not reduce, human trafficking at home?
Okay, so at this particular time then, so why is the forum, especially you've outlined the issue, but why at this particular time? And you've mentioned the pandemic, and who will the panelists actually be?
Let me just share a definition with you what human trafficking is, because this was very illuminating for me. It was very enlightening as well. And I just wanted this point to highlight an excellent partner of ours. Her name is Audrey Badai, and Audrey Badai actually leads the Child Development Agency in Jamaica. And I really have to give her credit because even before I was asked to chair the People Work Group, Audrey had reached out and she said, in my role as the Diaspora Northeast representative, that she wanted to partner with us. As you know, Jamaica does acknowledge Human Trafficking Month in the summer, but she wanted to begin to lead up to this because of the pandemic and all of the adverse impact on the economy. But I think it's important so that people really understand what we mean when we talk about human trafficking. I'm just going to read a definition, and this was actually provided by Audrey Badai based on how trafficking is defined in Jamaica, aligned, of course, with the international standards and conversations against trafficking in persons. And so the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons, they discuss human trafficking defined as a form of modern day slavery, a worldwide criminal activity. It is the transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons by means of threats or use of force or other forms of coercion, of abduction, of fraud, of deception, of the abuse of power or of a position of vulnerability, or of giving or receiving of payments or benefits to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person for the purpose of exploitation. And one of the notes that really is important to punctuate is that after drug dealing, trafficking in persons is the second largest organized criminal industry in the world. And trafficking in person involves three interrelated activities: recruitment by deception or force. We see that like where we will say to a young girl, you know, you could be an escort, or you could work in massage, or we're going to have you become like a household help. And then it turns out that they are forced into human trafficking, forced into prostitution. Transportation across borders, legally or illegally within a country, and exploitation. And so I will pause here and then I will just share a little bit more. Well, this is really simple. The rest of it is really short. So the elements of trafficking in persons are the act. So the act by which it is carried out among the person to force them into this kind of life, the means and the purpose. And it's not, and by the way, a child in terms of trafficking in person is any individual who's under 18 years of age.
Okay, and who will be the panelists? Who are the panelists for
So the panelists that we really have just an amazing group, really insightful, very knowledgeable individuals who have done this work for a very long time. And the panelists that we certainly have Audrey Badai coming up from the Child Development Welfare Agency. We do have individuals who currently serve as the chair of the National Trafficking Prevention Task Force in Persons Task Force in Jamaica. We have Evangelist Danny Walker from the Seventh-day Church of God, Maxwell Avenue. One of the reasons why it's so critical to have a faith partner at the table is because we have to think about, when you look at the organization of trafficking in persons, a critical partner is the faith community, because we know that in Jamaica, as in many other Caribbean islands, as in our culture, that faith communities are very important. So we're actually going to call upon our churches to really assist. We know that in some instances, sad to report, that some pastors have actually been involved in human trafficking. And it's not only men, some women have been involved in human trafficking in terms of recruitment. So the panelists consists of the individuals from the National Prevention Task Force. It consists of myself coming in as diaspora to really facilitate a conversation regarding the kinds of actions, the kinds of partnerships that certainly will be helpful to eliminate the human trafficking, especially of children, of boys and girls.
Okay, so can you describe the issues, the key issues that the forum hopes to address?
I think so. So we know that we do have that the driver of trafficking in persons, the driver of forcing children, forcing individuals into prostitution is really poverty, right? So poverty operates at a level because it's education, it's literacy, it's being really naive. I actually had and I should say this, that we will have a trafficking, a young lady who survived human trafficking. We're calling her a survivor and not a victim, who's actually a current high school student. We're not sharing her name. In fact, when she does come onto the forum, we're actually going to use a pseudonym and not show her face. And so these are important conversations, but we're hoping to address, how do we mitigate the impact of poverty as a driver? So for example, interestingly enough, family members in some cases who should be caregivers, because that's not caregiving. They're the ones that promote or actually push or allow an opportunity for children, for boys and girls to be used in trafficking. We know that in Jamaica, we certainly have tourism to a lesser extent now because of COVID-19. And so the demand for children, for pedophilia is really high. And that was an easy way for people to make money. It's emotionally hard, but people, said, well, why did you do it? Well, I needed money. I have to pay bills. The kids are hungry, and why not? I have one instance, Rudy, where here in the United States, I met a gentleman I worked with at the time, and this was perhaps in about 2008. And he showed me a series of text messages, and he said to me, Karren, I have this lady in Jamaica, because he used to go all the time. She worked on one of the resorts, and he said that she would text him. She had 3 girls. She told him that she would give him, he could get any of her 3 daughters. These were all under the age of 18. And she listed the price, or he could get all 3 of them. And then she gave him another price for that. And so the driver behind this is certainly poverty, and then ignorance, and then greed, and then evil, right? Yeah. So there has to be a certain level of evilness that says, I'm going to get on a plane miles away from where I live, go to the island of Jamaica, and have someone bring me a 13, a 14, a 12-year-old in some hotel room so that I can exploit them. I can have them do all kinds of things that I cannot ask the women in my home country to do. I'm going to go to Jamaica and give someone a few dollars to rape children, whether boys or girls. So we want to address the root in terms of how institutions like the faith community, the agencies, and the schools will have a guidance counselor, how they come in to the equation to identify when trafficking in persons, to identify children who are at risk, and importantly, to provide support. I believe if we know better, we do better. And remember, Rudy, in Jamaica, I heard this growing up, Lord, you can't hungry because you have your things, you have to use your things, right? To make a living. So there is this mindset that is just a part of the liberty. It's just a life, And so you just have to make a money. You just have to do what you have to do.
Yeah. Yes, quite sad, isn't it, really? So as a result then of this forum, so what actions are you expecting, and how do people get involved if they're interested?
In terms of the forum, I'm going to share the Zoom ID that they can certainly come in. We will post the live links on our Facebook page, and the Facebook is at DRKARREN, at DRKARREN, at Dr. Karren, or they can go onto Jamaica Diaspora Northeast USA, JANED, JNED, and they will see the flyer on human trafficking. We're going to post the live links there so that the forum is on March 11th. It's a Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if individuals can just click on that live link. If they have any questions, they can email us at nediaspora@gmail.com. And if they would like to join the actual forum, I'm going to read the Zoom ID, And then what I would like to do, Ruddy, is at some point, just send you the flyer so you can post it.
Please, yeah.
You will, thank you. The Zoom meeting ID is 924-1151-2768, 924-1151-2768. The passcode is 585159, 585159. And the outcome is, how do we interrupt and eliminate the cycle? I was a high school principal in the United States, and I have had experiences where I had girls, they used to dance on the weekends, or they used to go to houses, prostitution houses, where they would be locked in for the weekend, or they used to pick up men. I've had phone calls where people have seen my kids who are other students, and they would be like, Dr. Dunkley, I see such and such on this street. Broad Street is a popular street. It connects Philadelphia from north to south. And I would have to run and get all the agencies involved. In Jamaica, I've heard instances where, you know, Rudy, they kick these girls and boys out and tell them, go catch, man.
Yeah,
you know, you can't stay in here. So difficult. This is what we're dealing with. And we have to find a way to do better.
Yeah, okay. That message is loud and clear. And we're pleased that we're able to assist and help facilitate, get the message out, because it's important that we protect our communities and particularly our young people. So, yes,
and our sponsor, may I just share our sponsor? We have to just give a big shout out to Grace Kennedy, Bill Express, their FX Trader, Western Union. We have a great partner in Garfield Comrie in the Northeast. And when I shared with him that Garfield, we're doing this fighting human trafficking in Jamaica, we need action now. In light of COVID-19 already, the economy is really adversely impacted all across the world. So we can only imagine Jamaica. So we know that they say prostitution is the oldest profession in the world, but what we cannot do, we cannot exploit, we cannot rape children. That is not enough. And we cannot facilitate the rape of boys and girls as young as 12 and 11. We cannot. That is a sick society.
People have to get involved. We have to get involved and do our best. Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Karren Dunkley. And just to remind everybody once again, the name and the date and the time.
The title, Fighting Human Trafficking in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Questions and answers, and we are saying action is needed now. The date is March 11th. It's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rudy, we just want to thank you because you're going to broadcast for us in the UK market the next day. And we appreciate that because it takes all the partners to ensure global attention on this pandemic of human trafficking. And the time is 7 p.m. The Zoom details come in. You're going to hear from a survivor of trafficking in Jamaica, a current high school student. The meeting ID is 924-1151-2768. The passcode is 585159. And what we find a lot really in Jamaica, because again, the culture is a young girl culture. Everybody wants a young girl. Unfortunately, we do what is known as the adultification of Black children, because many or most, if not, and I think the data says about 99%, the phenotype are African children in Jamaica who are trafficked, boys and girls. So we adultify our children. We see them as less innocent, as less valuable. And this is an extended conversation that harkens back to the trauma of slavery that we cannot get into, but we can no longer continue.
Okay. The message is loud and clear. And thank you very much. Dr. Karren Dunkley. See you again soon. Take care.